Do I invite others?
Yeah. You have to admit all the people.
Well, I know, but I'm not, it's not going.
Open the participants.
Ah,
Here, let me help you.
this is not, it's not what we want.
Just start.
That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Okay. Show participants.
Okay. Go away. Love you.
Oh, Katrina, that must be.
Hello, Lorraine.
Hi. I'm being the, I'm admitting everyone.
Well, thank you.
Uh-huh. Letting Adam spend the last bit of time taking care of what he needs to take care of.
Good for you. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing pretty well.
Good.
I'm having physical therapy because, I broke my ankle in the spring, and I'm still in physical therapy for it. And I just had an appointment, and I'm like exhausted.
I bet you are. I bet you'll
Oh my
sleep
gosh.
well tonight.
Yeah. And so my physical therapist said, you might be swearing at me in the middle of the night. I'm going, oh no.
Oh, dear.
So we'll see. He worked me hard today, which that's good. That's what we want. So,
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, I went to a chiropractor today, so I.
oh, that's always a good thing too. So,
What is your name?
hello.
Hello.
I'm letting people in so that Adam can run around and take care of stuff he needs to take care of. So.
Thank you for being here.
Sure. We just had our dinner, so he's
Good.
running around. And I'm very exciting, you can see.
So are we.
I know, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm ready to go take a nap, so.
I bet you are. I bet you are.
But I'm really glad the smoke is gone. Wow.
Oh, I agree. It's just so lovely to be able to take a breath outside.
Yeah. We were our plans this weekend was Adam's mom's 80th anniversary.
Oh my
And
goodness.
today is his parents' 58th wedding anniversary, and today is Adam's 50th birthday.
50th birthday.
So
What
we
a
were
time.
going to spend, the plan was we were all going to go out to his parents for the weekend, and we were going to socially distance, and people were going to sleep in tents, and we were going to eat outside and everything. But then the smoke, and then the rain.
Oh,
Right.
And so we said, no, we don't think it's a good idea for us to do this. So on Saturday, we all went out to Port Angeles, which is kind of midpoint for a bunch of us. And we had not a picnic, but we all got together and had cake at Adam's brother's house, Adam's brother, Dan. And we sat outside, and luckily we had two of those put up pavilion things. So we could not be, it was raining. So we were disappointed that we didn't get to spend time, but we decided it wasn't a good choice.
I don't think so.
Because we were hoping that everybody could be outside for the weekend and everything, but nah. So that was a disappointment, but we did all get to see each other, which was good. So
The smoke was really terrible out on the peninsula too. They had about 300 out at Nia Bay, and I think it was about the same in Port Angeles.
Yeah, Adam's parents live like a half hour from Nia Bay, so it's like
I know exactly.
That's right. You drove by their house. That's right.
Well, no, I used to live out there, so I know exactly
that's right. You did. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say.
And so it was not bad. The smoke wasn't bad on Saturday, so thank goodness.
Okay.
But I can finally go outside and feel like I've been like wanting to garden, and I just haven't been able to. Well, everybody, I'm whining. You guys all know. I'm not telling you anything you haven't personally experienced. So,
but you've had several things that have happened, you know.
yeah,
we
I'm,
all have.
yeah, I can roll my eyes. Seriously roll my eyes.
Yes.
Hi,
Howdy.
welcome.
Thank you for finding the files.
Yeah, I was wondering where they disappeared to, that's for sure.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, well, they got that message that, you have no room left in your Dropbox, and
Oh no.
they just deleted out a bunch of files, fortunately.
I wondered if that's what had
Oh,
happened, because
you-
I got
you
that
know-
message too. And of course, I just ignored it. But yeah.
Yeah, well, the challenge is if you're using Dropbox for anything, like I use it for all my creative writing,
Mhm.
when it goes full, nothing gets saved because that's the only place it saves it.
Well, I thought we had a Dropbox now for Corral, and that was
We
going to take care of
do,
the problem.
But your Dropbox count includes all files you have access to.
Mhm.
If they're shared with you, they go towards your total
Ooh.
file size.
Ooh.
That was a change they made relatively recently, but I found it on their website, and they made it because people were creating multiple boxes and linking under multiple email addresses to gain
More
more
space.
space. So they killed that option.
That must be the problem, because I had Dropbox before I got on the board. And, now I don't have anything in Dropbox.
Yeah,
I just have
that-
boards. But
that
they
is
think
the
that all that is
challenge.
my personal stuff? Whoa.
Yeah, so there is an alternative. Instead of being given a share with Dropbox, you can be given a file link in Dropbox, and those don't count against your total. But you're not allowed to do anything with the file but read it.
Oh.
And
So you can
that's
read
okay. For many functions, read only is
Yes.
what people need.
But I often have to put, minutes
You
and stuff
do.
in there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You've got to have
Mhm.
access at least to the Skagit folder.
Mhm.
But we'll work it out.
Okay. I've just been ignoring them. They send
But
me
if you
email
use it for
emails.
anything else, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm not using it for anything else now. We were using it for a while to exchange pictures with kids in Scotland, but we just do it on WhatsApp now.
Yeah, that takes care of that issue for you. Yeah, by using Dropbox as my single point of contact, it
Mhm.
gives me access on a PC, a Mac, my phone, and my iPad to the same set of files.
That's
No
nice.
matter what I open,
Yeah.
it synchronizes between all 4 devices. So I can start writing in one place and go and park the car and pull out my phone and keep writing.
What are you writing, Bob?
I'm doing a little bit of creative fiction.
Oh, fun.
It's a slow process, but I participate in NaNoWrite, NaNoWrite,
NaNoWriMo.
NaNoWriMo,
Yeah,
yes.
NaNoWriMo, yeah. Says the librarian. I'm familiar with that.
Yep. So I've been doing it now, I think this is my 5th year.
I have about 7 or 8 chapters of a book, but I'm never going to finish it.
I'm at around 80,000 words over a multitude of projects.
Wow.
But, the biggest one's only 25,000. So I got another
Yes.
50,000 words to write before
In the
it's
oven.
useful.
Keeps you out of mischief.
It does keep you out of mischief. Keeps your brain working.
I've been thinking about playing with not thinking that they would ever be produced, but I've been thinking it'd be kind of fun to do some screenplays from favorite books that just for the doing it.
Just for the fun.
Yeah. There's an author named Georgette Hare who wrote in the 20th century. She wrote
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of early romances, and I love her. And there's no movies on her stuff except one that had nothing to do with the book except the names of the people. So I thought she would be fun to do. And
Mhm.
they're probably a lot of them are out of copyright because she wrote them a long time ago. So, but
Are you familiar with Scrivener?
I've
It's a
heard of it.
software program.
I've heard of it.
It has features specifically for screenwriting and playwriting and
Really?
television, and they're basically templates, but they're built into the program. And right now, if you sign up for
NaNoWriMo, yeah.
NaNoWriMo, there's a steep discount, and if you hit your 50,000 word goal, it's a very steep discount. But that product that was the tool that let me start writing effectively.
No, I'll look at that. I had to get a piece of paper to write that down.
Hello.
Hello. Look,
I'm going to mute myself and keep any background noise out.
we're all really exciting, I can see.
It was one of those days that if there was any way to do it, I would not be here right now. I feel obligated to show up. But I'm ready to just kick my feet up and say, tomorrow's coming. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you start out feeling that way though, and then you get sort of feeling rejuvenated by, getting going.
Especially when you stop doing whatever it was you didn't want to do. That'll rejuvenate you frequently.
Oh, I can see myself on the screen behind you. I can also see the
yeah.
Adam and I might be driving up to Astoria this weekend just for a little mini break. When we were in Portland, I found this small chest of drawers at a store that I really, really liked. And so I bought one, but it had to be made in Canada and then shipped down to Portland again. And they let me know a few weeks ago that it was available. So we have to go down to Portland and pick this up. And then we thought we'd go over to the coast. I've never been to Astoria, so we're looking into doing that this weekend. So.
Oh, that'll be lovely. I hope the weather will.
Well, even if the weather's not, it'll still be nice to go away.
Yes, absolutely. I get it.
Yeah. I don't consider my week of having my surgery as equal to a vacation for the year. So,
And the story can be very nice.
I'm looking forward to it. You ready, love?
I'm going to do some things over here.
Okay.
You can keep talking.
Okay.
Oops.
That's okay.
What's your chest of drawers look like?
Oh, it's just a small, it's got like 3 drawers, and it's, how tall would you say it is? Like 36 inches tall?
Maybe a little taller.
Maybe a little taller than that. I have a spot in my a room that I wanted to have a table to put. I have a lamp that was my mom's that I really like, and all I have in that room is bookshelves because it's my library. So I wanted something that that was a little deeper so that I could put I could put the lamp on it. And I wanted drawers because I needed a place to put my audiobooks because I have a lot of audiobooks. So, because I like to listen to audiobooks. What are you doing?
Never done that.
Oh my gosh. I'm really, when I started working, living in Linwood and driving up to Marysville every day, I was listening to books all the time. And so now that I'm not driving into Marysville, I'm finding, oh, I need to go to the store so I can listen to my book.
Oh.
Okay.
Hi, Peggy.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know there was an omit all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Much easier.
Yeah, it is. I learned something new every day.
Hey.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hope you all know today is Adam's 50th birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You can
Yeah.
always tell him again
Birthday.
later.
Yeah. Well, is that a card there, Jackie?
Happy birthday, Adam.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, we're having not a very exciting day for his birthday. Our original plan was we were going to go on a cruise because we went on a cruise for my 50th birthday. And so we were going to go on a
Sure.
cruise for his 50th birthday, but we didn't do that this year.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, but it'll be probably a few years from now.
Yeah.
So
Our daughter, Katrina, has signed in. You see down below there, she's a little
Mhm.
nervous about joining.
Okay.
Hey.
Welcome, Katrina.
Welcome, Katrina.
Hey,
And
you may
Katrina
not remember,
and-
but she
Hi,
did come
Katrina.
to
Is that your
practices.
daughter?
There she is. She came to practices when we were singing, practicing at the high school with Joan. I think, how old were you, Katrina? About 11 or so. But she has a lovely voice.
All right. Cool.
Pressure's on now.
no
Lorraine.
pressure.
Lorraine, your voice sounds very good. Are you feeling well?
Yeah, I haven't yet tried to sing.
Oh, well, take
yeah.
it easy.
I know. I'm supposed to be doing exercises my voice teacher gave me, of course, which haven't done yet, which is not good. It's like I can only deal with so much physical therapy at a time. I'm doing stuff for my ankle now, so it's like I'm like, no.
Like this.
Yeah, I know. So, but yeah, I the talking seems to be good. If I talk for a long time, I still get a little hoarse, but I'm feeling confident about the singing, but just not doing it yet. So, yay. Are you here for the duration now?
Mhm.
I was trying to let him go do what he needed to do. See, I still could have pushed admit all, but I seem to be enjoying pushing the single buttons.
Get your control.
Just enough
There you go.
control. We don't have any kind of streaming service and we don't have television. So we're
We
stuck
don't either.
with the DVDs that we have in our collection. And I've been watching That's Entertainment and That's Entertainment Part 2 this last week. I've really been enjoying watching all the singing and dancing from the MGM musicals. So that's what I've been exciting doing. So
You have movies on YouTube too.
I have gone through those, but I'm yeah. I have found some really interesting movies from like the 20s, the late 20s on YouTube that were quite interesting. So
Actually,
what?
let's ask everybody who's here right now. Can you get yourself something like this? A glass of water, only about an inch full, and a straw.
Straw.
We're going to be doing straw phonation. So if you can
to
get
clean
a
it.
glass of water and a straw, only about an inch to an inch and a half of water.
Plug it in. Be back. Yeah, if you could, please. You need to get more.
Sure, it's gonna.
Mhm.
Yeah, 74. Okay, now here. How do I know what I'm called?
Holding the microphone.
Oh, okay. I was telling them that we're going to go to Astoria this weekend.
9:32, Johnny.
Oh,
Staying in Astoria.
No.
good.
So Peggy, tell us about good places on the Olympic coast to stay in Washington.
Well,
In Washington?
This is for another time,
Oh, okay.
like
I love the
Thanksgiving.
Silver Lake area. Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
I would try to one of the lodges at Kalalik. They've got little cabins, and you can get a cabin where you can cook your meals and stay there and just look out the water. So that would be my first choice.
Yeah, we definitely want places that have a kitchen so that you can take care of
Right.
yourself.
Exactly.
No restaurants for us. So
Okay, it doesn't seem to be kicking me off.
We honeymooned at Kalaloch in one of the cabins.
really
Yeah.
nice.
I was
It's got
hoping
better
for
Edgewater
a
now.
stormy weekend, but it was beautiful weather and we went to all the beaches. And had a lovely dinner in the lodge.
You
Okay.
have to get
Nice.
out of everything.
Well, I don't know what
Yeah.
your hunch called.
There we go.
Just
Ed has gone fishing. He's
Rehearsal, huh?
on his way home, I believe, so he'll be joining us later.
We've never had this on before.
Sing louder. Good.
Okay.
Adam's been busy making the recordings of Bethlehemu. So every week I get to hear different stuff being sung over and over again.
And over and over.
And over. And that's okay. He sounds good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Can't
Is
get.
your voice muted?
No,
I don't know how yours works.
no,
So
it's not. My voice isn't.
I guess you better.
I want to go to Rogers Tropical Beach.
Yeah. That looks really nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I were there.
Yeah.
I believe you are.
In our imagination.
Yeah. Okay.
I stated this earlier, but for the people who are here now, today is Adam's 50th birthday. So,
Oh, happy birthday.
so I want to make sure everyone knows. He's probably not happy with me.
No.
So,
Too bad.
yeah.
The rumor was already out.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Good. I bought a small chocolate cake that we're going to eat after rehearsal. So,
Good. Nice.
from the Whole Foods has these awesome little chocolate cakes that are really yummy. So,
Chocolate? Adam hates chocolate.
I know it's hard. I just got chocolate for me. Yeah. He has to put up with my chocolate love. Ha, ha, ha.
Aw.
That is.
It won't stay, huh?
Okay. So far.
37. Good.
38.
Oh, I know what I wanted.
What?
Glass of water. Full glass.
Oh, he wants
Yeah.
a full glass of water, not just the one to blow bubbles in.
Oh, I thought he said.
I thought he was getting wine.
No, we don't do wine.
That's too bad.
Oh, good.
I
more
know.
for us.
See, the thing is if I'm going to ingest the calories, it's going to be chocolate cake.
Right. Don't drink your calories.
Yeah, I'm not going to drink my calories if I can eat them.
What we got? Fan blowing. Oh, there we go. Happy birthday.
I'm joining you guys from Spokane Valley. Is anybody further away?
Wow.
No.
Oh.
All right.
Rockport.
We're in Rockport camping.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm still further. I'm over in Eastern Washington. Almost.
Where are you,
Oh,
Ruth?
yeah, you're further.
Ruth Backlund, where are you?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh my God.
It's a lot further than me.
My mother was born there and raised there, so
Wow.
I know Omaha.
Okay.
This is for Miss Rehearsals now. That should be a TV series.
I know
Omaha.
It hasn't been the same since you left.
All right, just so those of you who
It's
didn't
too
hear me
early.
say this already, I'm asking people to get a glass of water with an inch or two of water and a straw. So please,
No straws.
Sorry. we're
Don't
not-
have a
no
straw.
straws.
you gotta have straw.
No straw.
My
I-
straw came out of my water bottle, so check your water bottle. You may have
That's where mine came too.
a plastic water bottle straw.
Yep.
Mine came out of the grandkids.
Thanks.
Let's go up with that.
Grandkids box had it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head out now, everyone.
No, we don't have any straws.
There it goes.
He's making it a standing desk. There.
We
Yeah,
don't have
maybe
any
like-
straws of any kind.
Get up.
And I know we don't have a
Adam's
bottle.
making the standing desk go up. So everyone have a lovely rehearsal. And when I can start singing, I'll start coming. Yay.
Hey.
And as remember, as we see the birthday, baby, happy birthday, baby.
Yay!
All right. Gosh, we're still not starting, but that's okay.
You got 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
I know. Well, I told you last week, right? Okay, let's go. Let's go. All right.
It starts like regular.
Oh.
But why can't I see everybody at the same time?
Here we go.
Maybe I can't from my phone.
I often feel when Lorraine goes away that the life of the party is gone.
Nah.
I
I can't.
A life of your party, and that's how it should be.
I let her be the one to talk most of the time. All right.
Come on.
Thank you, Peggy.
It's backwards.
It was right.
This is great. I love it. Wow. Yeah, the big 5-0, right? Happy 50. Cool. I have the feeling I might not be seeing everything.
You're not.
Can't be up to us.
All right.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Thank you, George. Gracias. Whoop, whoop, happy birthday. All right.
There you go.
Thank you, Patricia. I like that.
Feliz, feliz cumpleaños deseamos para ti. Que Dios omnipotente te quiera bendecir. Feliz, feliz cumpleaños, de Dios felicidad. Que tengas en la vida y allá en la eternidad.
Woo!
And that's what we sing in the Hispanic churches.
Okay.
In that case, happy birthday
To you.
Okay, go for it.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Adam. Happy birthday to you.
Adam, go ahead and blow.
Oh.
Hey.
All right. Oh, I like Lee's got the candle there.
Whoops. Doesn't work.
Hey, Jackie, can you show me your card? Jackie Stone. What? My goodness. Okay.
May you enjoy life with a dance in your step and a song in your heart.
Wow.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Okay. We are at 6:30. So thank you everybody for the happy birthday wishes. I'm fine turning 50. It's odd. I'll have to get used to it. I'm in my 50s now. I guess you still will call me a youngster, some of you.
Yes.
Okay. I can live with that.
I think so.
You know, Andre Thomas, it's like, oh yes, Andre Thomas and I, we go way back. Andre Thomas is a conductor but anyway, I happened to have a conversation with him in Salt Lake City while we were both at the ACDA convention there. And I don't remember exactly how it came up, but he said, you should never apologize for looking young. And so I said, okay, good, thanks, that's fun, cool. All right. So anyway, that's my brush with greatness there. So let's go ahead and start then. And I think, since you have to indulge me, since it's my birthday, we'll do the log in the river again, shall we? Okay.
Time to get up.
All right, so space to do this, and you're gonna breathe in. I considered having you blow bubbles through your straw while doing the log in the river, but maybe not maybe. Breathe in and out. In.
I want to see the whole thing. I know.
Really check in with the muscles of your body and let them be relaxed and easy. And say for me. Let's set up a pattern. You can each do it at your own speed. So
Muted or unmuted?
well, right now we're unmuted, and I'm going to live with that for a while. Okay, let's go with it. All right, so I'm going to set up a tempo. This is the tempo. I'll give you different consonants. It'll be like va 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 va. You. Va 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 va. Me. Pa 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 pa. You. Pa 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 pa. Me. Sa 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 sa. You. Sa 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 sa. Me. Wa 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 wa. You. Wa 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 wa. Me. Fa 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 fa. You. Fa 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 fa. Me. Cha 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 cha. You. Cha 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 cha. Me. Ka 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 ka. You. Ka 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 ka. All right, good. All right, that's fine. A little bit just to kind of get our bodies and voices woken up there a little bit. Let's see.
I think so.
I want to do just a little bit of slow, easy glissando again, except I think, all right, so once again, if you do not yet have a glass and you still want to use a glass, if you don't want to use a glass, you don't have to use a glass. But if you want to try this out, please get yourself a glass filled with an inch or two of water and a straw. And now let's experiment with this a little bit. So the first thing to do is just phonate while you're blowing bubbles, like oh. Okay, right? Okay, so I think I might mute us for now. It's
good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so this is just me now. All right. I have a friend who is a voice teacher and conductor and etc. He uses straw phonation all the time. I really should introduce it a little bit more than rather just jumping right in. So straw phonation is a method of vocal therapy, vocal technique building that's been around for quite a long time. Hey, Roger, I'm looking at you. Did you ever do straw phonation when you did your speech therapy stuff? Okay, not do that. Okay, all right. Anybody else had experience with straw phonation from the group? I'm not seeing any hands waving. Wait, there's a Mark Backlund waving. Tell us, Mark, what your experience was, Joan Meyer, after.
Well, I took some vocal lessons from Lisa Grace in town when I was trying out for some plays at the Anacortes Community Theater. She gave me a little straw and had me using it for breathing exercises, and I can't right now remember all the exercises she gave me with it, but yeah, I think that's straw phonation probably.
Yeah, okay. And Joan Meyer, you had some experience with it? Wendy, is that you waving too? Okay. Joan, you're muted. You have to unmute. So tell us, talk. I'm interested in hearing what people's experience has been so far. So you're still muted, Joan. Do you know how to unmute yourself? while you're looking at that, Wendy, can you go ahead and talk about what your experience was?
Well, it was working with Jennifer Cross, who has studied with Rick Asher, which I'm wondering if that's who your friend is. But
no.
But for warming up with the straw, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, Joan, are you unmuted? Can you comment?
No, actually, I was waving to Koisi and Nina. Sorry.
Okay. All right. That's fine. No problem. Casualty of Zoom. All right. So good. Well, so let's do a little straw phonation. And the point is that it evens out the pressure. It makes you really aware of the amount of pressure that you need to use to have a consistent tone. It makes you aware of how you're using your breath. Are you using it smoothly or not? And I thought about sending out another email and saying, hey, everybody, let's do it. Let's you get your straws and cups handy so that you would have one. But I didn't feel like it was worth an email just for that. So you can try this after the rehearsal. And I see Koisi and Nina are both ready to go, and I'm tempted to have you guys do it for us. So why don't we do this? Nina, can you unmute yourself? Would you be willing to gargle in front of us?
You know what? Eva actually does, my daughter Eva does this in her voice lessons.
Aha!
So her voice coach uses this.
Will Eva step up to the microphone?
I know she went away, but
okay,
she'll
all right,
hopefully come back.
All right. Well, what can you have learned from your daughter, Nina, and your granddaughter, Koisi? Have you anything to share?
No, she has her door shut when she's doing her Zoom.
Oh, I see. Okay. One could understand that. All right. Could Nina and Koisi, could you guys do a old glissando, or just kind of a glissando, not going real high, just kind of mid-rangey on your blowing bubbles? Go ahead. All right, that's great. What did you notice about it when you did it? Was there anything that you learned about your breath pressure, your vocal tone as you did it?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I sort of had to keep an even amount of pressure as I was going.
Yeah. For me, sometimes what I discover is, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, like, especially when I'm doing an interval, when I'm doing a jump rather than a slide, then suddenly I realize, oh, I didn't make my breath consistent. I didn't use my breath consistently as I did that. So now, Koisi and Nina, can you go ahead and do that? And anybody at home, you're muted. Go ahead and experiment with yourself too. So what's the difference like if you do a interval? Like, let's see, if you went a perfect fourth, for example, here comes the bride with the straw. So what did you notice in terms of the connection and the smoothness and the consistency of your tone when you did that?
I just feel like I'm running out of air faster. Maybe I'm just blowing too hard. I don't know.
Yeah. So can you use less air and still get the same effect of bubbles, Koisi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. So there you have it, folks. That's something you want to pay attention to when you're experimenting with the straw also. Thanks, Koisi and Nina. And so when you're glissandoing or when you're jumping intervals, you want to just check in with your breath as you're doing it. So I'm going to do some o glissandos. You all can do o glissandos as well, with or without your straw, okay? If you do it without a straw, you can go higher or lower. If you do it with a straw, keep it fairly mid-range. Don't go too high or too low for now. All right, so here we go. I really do find that it makes a difference for me in terms of how much breath I use. Like Koisi was saying, I can be much more efficient than I understood was possible before when I use the straw. And you can do it like So for example, if we were all to sing America the Beautiful, for example, that's probably a good key. So here's your first pitch, oh beautiful. Everybody who's not using a straw, just do it on hum, okay? Anyone who is using a straw, sing through the straw. So 1, 2, 3. Now, because we have so many people actually not having straws, I think I'll probably do more of this in a future week. Well, I certainly will, but I think I might do less today than I was thinking about. Although it's going to come back. It's going to come back for some phrases as we sing. But I want to give you better notice next time that I'm going to be asking you to have straws. I actually have a gross of straws that I've had for 7 years or something like that. And I had the idea of bringing it to the corral, and I just never could figure out how that was going to work. And so I just never did that. But now Zoom makes it easy. So, all right, more lemonade to make here. All right, so the point is, people have been asking me about breathing. They've been asking me about how much air you need to use or how little. People have been saying they have a struggle sometimes with breathing post-COVID. So I have been communicating with friends and colleagues about it and asking their opinion. And one of my good friends, his name is Scott Kovacs, actually. He's actually one of the people who teaches with me in the summers at Midsummer Musical Retreat. And he's been using straw phonation for quite a long time and is a big fan. You don't have to have the bubbles, by the way. You can do the straw without the water. And some people find that to be very helpful as well. So let's see, let's change to a different kind of exercise. We're going to do some fast moving things. So just, let's see, do I feel like we did the O glissando enough? I guess so. Let's do this. That's a C. We're going to do a fifth. We're going to go do, 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 just like that. Do, 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 and here. Do, 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 and here. Do, 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 and here. Do, 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 a little faster. Do, 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 and here. Do, 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 and here. Do, 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 one more. Do, 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 going down. Do, 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 going down. Do, 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 a little faster. Do, 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 here. Do, 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 here. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. So where this came from, as you know, I've been recording Betelehemu, and I'll be sharing that with you later. That's all the practice guides are, well, everything's recorded. I just have to export the practice guides for you. And one of the, I come up with these things, I experience all of the singing that you will do on all the different parts and discover things that maybe I knew about before, and maybe I hadn't really thought about, the difficulties or the challenges in a given vocal part in a given song. So when the basses sing, awa-yo, oh, see, that's hard. I'm still not very happy with how I'm doing it. That's the right key. Awa-yo, ri-pa-bag-bo-jule, right? That's in the fast section of the Betelehemu. And it's only for the basses, they're the only ones who move in that way. But I think it's not a bad idea for all of us to practice on our ability to articulate quick moving pitches like that. So when we go do, 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 for example, let's go back and do that a couple more times in that same key. So do, 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 here's your first pitch. We'll do a couple of those. 1, 2, ready, and go. Do, 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 again. Do, 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 do. Change to low now. Low, 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 low. 1, 2, ready, and go. Low, 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 low. Again. Low, 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 low. Experiment with do or low. Go back and forth. Do one, do the other. Do, 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 whatever. Let's do a few more. 1, 2, ready, and go. Do, 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 do. Lo, do. Lo, do, lo, 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 do. That wasn't easy. Lo, 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 lo. Do. do 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 do. Okay, that's enough of that. But the thing is, when you get to awa yi do 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 re pa ba go jule, right? That case, when you articulate with the does, then you make that much more clear than if you try to articulate with your body. Some people will have the skills to articulate those pitches without getting caught up in their faces and their throats. Some people might not. I was testing as I was recording, and I found that if I went do do do, awa yi do 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 re ba ba bo jule, then I actually could not hear that in the final mix. When I was listening to the bass part, it fit in there with no trouble. It was not obvious to me that I was using extra consonants. And so therefore, basses, I'm telling you, you can do that if you want. When you're recording your final version, you can put those extra consonants in. Meanwhile, as we're working on this as a vocal technique exercise, if we can take out a couple of those, then that kind of builds up our different ways of handling this similar sorts of vocal technical issues. So here's what I mean. If we go awa do 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 re ba ba bo jule, right? So we're going to skip. We're not going to do the whole scale we were doing before. We're just going to do the awa do 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 re ba ba, like that. Awa do 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 ba ba. Let's do that. Awa do 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 ba ba. Once again. Awa do 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 ba ba. Okay, now if we add the re, awa yi do do do, so the yi do, the 16th note on the last bit of that first half of that measure, awa yi do 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 re ba ba bo jule, awa yi do 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 re ba ba fe henti, awa yi do 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 re ba ba bo jule, awa yi do re ba ba bo jule. Oh, fe henti, whatever. You can do fe henti, you can do bo jule. It's easy, it's okay either way. But so here's the question. If you take out those D's now when you're singing, can you still make those? Can you still articulate those 16th notes clearly? I have trouble with myself, so we'll just see what happens here. So let's go back and forth. We'll do 2 sets. We'll do 4 sets. And the first of each 2 we'll do the do do do, and then the second one we'll leave the do out. We'll try to do it with our body. I'll demonstrate. Here's 2 times through. Awa yi do 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 re ba ba bo jule. Awa yi o re ba ba fe henti. Awa yi do 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 re ba ba bo jule. Awa yi o re ba ba fe henti. Okay, so as I did it there, I wasn't especially happy with the first time I did it with my torso, with my articulation from the body. Second time through, I felt like that was a keeper. That was a good one. So it's something to practice. It's something to build up the experience of being able to do that. And little experiments like this, little exercises like this are ways that you can do that. Now, the sopranos, altos, and tenors also have an articulation in that same spot in the music. And you, like if I was singing the tenor, the Hawaii ba ba bo chule. And so that iori, that spot right there, it's a 16th note pickup to the 4th, 8th note of the measure. Hawaii ba ba bo chule. And if that's going to be clearly articulated, we really, and for the sopranos and the altos and the tenors, we have to make that 4th, 8th note clear in the measure. Hawaii, iori, and I'm doing that by using a little bit of extra impetus from my torso, from my body. So exercises we've done in the past, like ho 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 ho, or ho 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 ho, or hee hee ha ha, hee hee ha ha, or something like that. You can do all of those kinds of things to activate what's happening in your torso so you can sing Hawaii, iori. So let's do that together. Let's sing your own part. Let's see, altos, Hawaii, that's your part. No, I'm singing my range. Hawaii, sopranos, tenors, Hawaii, right? Here we go. Hawaii, I made up a new part for the baritones, never mind. Figure out your own part. Here we go, 1 and 2. Hawaii, pa ba bo chule. Hawaii, pa ba fe henti. Hawaii, pa ba bo chule. Hawaii, pa ba fe henti. So when you do that, hopefully what we get, the result that you get is nicely, clearly articulated short notes which makes that pop. You notice that I gave a little extra oomph on the awa, awa-iori, right? So that might be something you can do as well. Okay, let's see. He-ho-he. I wrote down he-ho-he. Awa-he-ho-he. You could try it like that if you wanted to. Let's do a little bit of that. So instead of ye-ori, we're going to sing he-ho-he, right? So I'm going to write that in the chat. So you see he-ho-he. That's not hi, that's he. Let's try this. He-ho-he. Ha ha he ho he ha 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 he ho he ha 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 ha. Let's try it like that, okay? Nice little abstracted articulation exercise. 1 and 2. Ha ha he ho he ha 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 he ho he ha 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 he ho he ha 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 he ho he ha 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 ha. Right, I keep singing the tenor part. I hope that's not confusing anyone. But yeah, okay, enough of that. Let's move on. Now, if we think about the slow part, the slow awa-iori part for the women, for the sopranos and altos, I was surprised actually to find when I was recording the practice guide parts. So I did 3 soprano parts and 3 alto parts, and was very pleased to discover that I could sing the whole phrase through, get a comfortable breath, sing the next phrase through. So you know you do it 4 times through at the beginning, right? And so ideally, you can do all those phrases in 1 breath each, and you'll have a comfortable, easy enough breath at the end of each of those phrases that you'll be able to do that. What I did discover is my first phrase each time was the one that was the wobbliest. After that, I settled down a little bit and I got better about it. Now, I think what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to jump over to Logic Pro, which I believe now you should be able to hear. And this, by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm still thinking of this as warm-up period. We're working on specific things from certain songs, but the focus is still really vocal technique. And there's a gray area which will continue to be there all along. When are we doing vocal technique and when are we working on the song? All the time. Okay, so meanwhile, let's see. Let me share the screen with you and see if we can get this computer, the Logic sound, so that you, first of all, you can see my Logic screen here, which I'm about to make bigger. Okay, good. Thank you. That helps. Now, if I play, it might be loud. Lorraine, we tested this yesterday, and Lorraine said it was really loud, so I'll start quiet. Okay, stop. Let's go back here a little bit. Go back to the beginning. Okay, and so can you hear? Can you hear Betelehemu? Somebody give me thumbs up when you can hear this, please. Okay, I get a nod from Joan. That sounds good. All right, good. Now let me stop for a minute. So first of all, let me give you a little bit of navigation about what we're seeing here. I'll simplify it a little bit. So I'm going to be using Logic since we just demonstrated that you can hear it. That's my understanding, right? You can hear it in your homes. Good. This is going to be an important tool as long as we're doing the Zoom sessions like we're doing right now. And I want you to be able to see to understand what you're looking at. Each of these horizontal representations is a track. Okay, and so starting at the top here, actually we have a percussion summing stack, and that has a whole bunch of individual instrument tracks that I gathered together, and that's all percussion, and so that's out of the way, and we won't look at that right now. Meanwhile, there's me singing the solo, there's a count off, and then all the rest of these are sets of basses. The bass MIDI, that's your basic computer information that came across from the notation into this Logic program and gives us a really basic playing of what the part is for the basses in that case, right? So that's the basses, and if I played all the basses together, my recordings, that's 3 recordings of me singing the bass part plus the MIDI that I just mentioned. Okay, so now take those basses out and make everybody else visible. We have tenor MIDI plus 3 tenor parts. We have alto MIDI plus 3 alto parts, and soprano MIDI plus 3 soprano parts. So as I bring this up, I can change the dynamic level of groups. See this? I do this and I make all the tenors louder or quieter. And so what we can do as we go back here is we can emphasize a group. So here's the altos, right? We're listening to the altos right now, especially. And maybe we'll add a little soprano. Okay. So let me ask this before I go on. Let me stop sharing just for a moment. Do you have questions about what you saw there in Logic? Does that make sense to you? Or are there things that you're not sure about what you're seeing or have questions? Okay, I'm scanning. Looks good, looks good. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to go back in. Now, what I'm going to demonstrate right now, what I'm going to play for you is that part for the sopranos and altos that starts at the beginning. I would love for you to go ahead and feel free to sing along, but I do really want you to be aware of how I can sing the whole phrase through one breath and then take a comfortable breath. And I let those breaths be audible on the practice guide, even though maybe in the final version I won't want those breaths to be audible, not mine and not yours. But for now, be aware you can hear how long I take to let the breath in. That's part of why I think it worked for me, is that I didn't rush the breath in. I didn't wait. I didn't take the breath in too soon and hold it. I let the breath come in kind of a gradual way and then started right back out with my singing. So I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. And again, this is the soprano and alto part. And I'm going to, let me do something real quick here so I can see this better. Okay. All right. So going back here towards the beginning.
1, 2, 3.
So, right here. Do a second time through then. Release. It goes on for quite a while, and I do breathe, I stagger breathe in there. That's how long it lasts. There will be timing to help you clarify how long am I supposed to sing this, darn it? Okay, I'll count that and I'll show that in the video click track to show you how long it is. Of course, you can look at your sheet music and follow that, and that is accurate. Okay, so right, so I'm curious. I wanted to come out of the sharing for a minute, and for those of you who sang along with that part, sopranos and altos in particular, did you feel like you made it through the whole length of that phrase? Did you have a struggle with that? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, for those of you who have your straws in water, I would like you to, this time we'll do it again, and I'd like you to sing it with the straw. If you don't have a straw, you don't have water, I would like you to try it on a different, you could do na 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 na, like we've done in the past, right? That would be another way to do it. It's ways that you can think about how much air you're using and regulate it so that you are not wasting air. The straw will show you much more effectively than na 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 na, but na is still a good another good possibility of ways to learn that about yourself. So let's go back again. into the same spot and right about here. Okay, so you know what? I don't want to make everybody totally. If you can hear the betelehemus from the tenors and basses, that's going to give you a little bit more of a clue how your timing works. Sopranos and altos. Here we go.
First pitches are altos. Here's your first pitches.
2, 1, 2, and ready. One more. That's how we'll count it. Okay, let's stop for a minute. All right. So when I want to point out something with the soprano part here. So the ba ba fa ti, excuse me for scrolling, and you have to look at it. Oops, sorry, I lost track of where I am. Okay, there we go. So if I'm just going to, let me solo the sopranos here, and I want you to hear where I breathe in that spot. Okay, I think this should be audible to you, but if not, I'm going to make it more obvious. So what I'm doing right now, see these buttons right here that I just adjusted? So the soprano B, oh, I was doing the wrong one. Soprano A is going to be right in the center of our headphones. Soprano B is going to be on the right side. Soprano C is going to be on the left side. So hopefully we're going to be able to hear what I did with the breaths to stagger breathe through this spot. There's a breath. There's another breath. So I'm not even sure where the third soprano breathed. But what I did is I breathed in different spots, right? Many of you have done stagger breathing for years and you know exactly what it is, and there's no problem here. But I always felt like I never could really explain it very well in the context of rehearsal. Now being able to play more than one part at the same time, I can point out to you that in those 3 different soprano parts, I breathed in 3 different places. When I came back in, I didn't come back in loudly. I came in quietly and then came back up, brought my volume back up. So I could hide my breath, especially in my onset. Remember that word from last week? Sometimes your onset may not be very well controlled. Right? If you do that, you don't want that sticking out. If I have to edit to take that out of your part, I can do that. But it's better because when we get back together and we're stagger breathing in live concerts, you're going to want to be able to come back in from a stagger breathing moment on that nice quiet onset that you make a choice, that you are very clear about how much volume you use and the character of the vowel as you start your back up on your tone. So anyway, that's how the stagger breathing is going to work there at the end. And that's how stagger breathing can work in any of those phrases before. If you're not able to sing all the way through the all that, then stagger breathe there and do the same thing that I'm asking for. You tail off before you run out of air. You take a comfortable breath, you start quietly and come back in. And so nobody knows you were gone. All right, let's see now. I think that's enough of that first spot, and I want to move on to some other sections. But before I do that, let me jump and see if there are any questions from anybody about what we've been talking about so far. Okay, I'm looking and not seeing questions. Okay, that's fine. So let's see. So we were working then, when we did a little bit of rhythm earlier, we were working on the Awa Yori Babak Bojule, the very beginning of the fast section of music. And so now we're going to switch over to that part, and we're going to start to apply that to actual singing. What I'd like to do actually first is sopranos, altos, and tenors. We'll have you start here. And so if we're looking at sheet music, where is my sheet music? It's going to give you a page number. By the way, let me point out something I did here. So, I can't see myself. There I am. Okay, so I hole punch this music so that it's higher than usual. You see, it's not really centered on the page, and the reason why that is so when it sits on the music stand and I turn the page, it doesn't, if you've got the same kind of music stand I do, it doesn't scrape along the metal bottom edge of the music stand, and therefore making a noise which gets on your recording. You still can get lots of sound, lots of noise if you're not careful, but that's one less noise that you can get. And this goes back to when I was in the session choir and working on and recording, and it really made a big difference if you made a single noise like that. So it's best if you can start thinking now, how can I arrange things? How can I do a little hole punch? How can I, let me see if I can demonstrate something else here. This is a tangent, if you couldn't tell. Let's see, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah, well, so what I used to do is I'd put a pencil in right here underneath. I can't really demonstrate this very well. If you can put a pencil in underneath, and that puts the music binder up just a little bit above, and again, you get these quiet page turns, which is a good thing for the producer, so he doesn't have to try to get that out of the sound. Okay, now back to what we were doing. Let's go to the bottom of page 2, top of page 3, actually. Letter C, Awa Yori, is where we were going. And we were going to do the tenors, sopranos, and altos first. Remember the work that we were doing on da-da-dee, right? So we were clarifying the articulation of this spot. Awa Yori. So I'm going to jump over to the music, to the Logic recording, and let you sing along with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to point out first, but let's go ahead and go do that. Oh yes, here is something I need to point out in here, which is, so let's see. There are some obnoxious MIDI generated percussion sounds on this recording, which eventually will be gone, replaced by real percussionists. I think I talked about that last week. So here's the last little bit of the slow part. Notice there's a retard there and a fermata. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. The problem, I stopped in the middle like that. The problem with that song, sorry about that. I meant to just stop it. I didn't mean to jump around like that. The problem with this song is it's just relentless. And once you get started, it's like, when are we going to stop? Can we stop? No, let's stop. So needed to stop. I needed to point out a couple things also that I don't know if I explained completely clearly. If you look at the notation for Betelehemu, and you look at the bottom of page 2 at letter B, you see that it says bongos, djembes there. I'm hoping to get at least 4 different recordings of djembes and bongos doing trills there. You can see at letter B, they come in like, right? They'll come in at different pitch levels because there'll be different sizes of drums. So that's what you're hearing right here. Now here, measure right here, this spot, we're going to break out of that trill thing and we get into the top of page 3 at measure 20. And this is where you have 4 measures of the 6/8 before you start singing. So you have those 4 measures to clarify what's the rhythm and how am I going to fit myself into it? When do I need to breathe to be ready for that? So let's hear that. Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, going to stop again. Sorry, I don't mean to make you go on yet. So the point is, that's what I want you to be used to listening for on these click tracks, on the practice guides, so you know exactly when you're supposed to come in. Now, do we have any sopranos or altos or tenors with the issues in that spot? All of that stuff. Anybody unsure about pitches or rhythms? Do you feel like you're doing a good job as you're singing it? Do you feel like you're articulating it clearly? All right, that sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the bass. Oh, Nina, go ahead. Yes.
It just seems faster than we did it last time. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Well, here we go. Okay.
Did somebody let me in the waiting room? I'm in the waiting room. I'm finally back in. Okay, thank you.
Yep, sorry, I just saw you there. Okay. Well, okay, so the issue, of course, that I'm dealing with right now is if we slow it down, I have to re-record the whole thing, well, at least the fast sections. I like that tempo. Do we feel that that's possible? So, Crazy, when you say it's fast, do you mean it's fast impossible, or you mean it's fast, oh my gosh, that'll take some work to get used to?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was a little bit late coming in each time.
Okay, good. Now there, I can work with that. That's helpful. Thank you. So then it's what I was just showing everybody with regard to what you're hearing from the MIDI percussion that helps clarify where we are in the rhythm. You have to find that feeling of rhythm before you start to sing. You have to be so used to that sound that you know exactly when you're supposed to come in. So let's do this a few times. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to share the logic with you, and I'm going to play those 4 measures of the dum ticka ticka dum ticka ticka dum ticka ticka dum. What I want you to do in your homes is count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Awa yori, okay? And then just speak. Don't worry about singing, but just speak. And really, we probably, if I can stop myself, we won't go on very far. The point really is to get that very first awa. So that's the first step. Here we go. So we're going to share the screen. Going to go in, same spot. Okay, so right here. And by the way, Lorraine has told me that she can't stand all those voices of me talking in the background, telling you things about what's coming up. So like, for example, if I play the tenor part right here, this is what you're hearing.
Okay, tenors, here we go. Here's your first 2 pitches. Do, 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 do.
All right, so I'm giving you a little bit of a hint of what's coming up next, but when you're hearing everybody's parts at once, you can't really, you can't figure that out. But when it's only going to be the bass part or only the tenors, then that will all be much clearer. So here we go. Oops, sorry, I need to give you I need to let you know when we're starting. So we're going to start a measure before the counting. We got somebody speaking who I'd like to mute. Can you mute whoever that is? Okay, here we are at measure 49. This is going to be a whole measure before you start counting. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, two. Awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti, awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti. Right, gonna stop there. So, did you feel like you were able to start at the right time on awa yori? Let's do this also. So we're going to do the same thing once again. I'll start in the same spot. You'll have a measure before you start counting. If you want to,
our majors are not the same as yours.
Okay, these aren't really measure numbers up here. These measure numbers aren't really measure numbers here, so I won't use those. I don't know if I said that, but okay, we're starting at measure 20. So except I'll start at measure 19 actually.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Okay, so this time you can count it a different way. If you need to, you can count 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, awa yori. Okay, let's do that. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti, awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti. Okay, so once again, I've stopped you, and I know probably you're saying, can we just sing? All right, but basses, I want to get you on board too. Now, I really would like the screen to show me more. It's got, sometimes my computer can't quite keep up with all the complexity of what's going on. Basses, you're nibola, right? We need to make sure that you're speaking that and you're saying that at the right time. So let's start with the basses this time. We're going to focus on them. And so I'm going to make everybody else a little bit quieter. Sopranos, altos, and tenors are going to be quieter, and I'm going to bring the basses up. And we're going to do the same counting in. You can still count in sopranos, altos, and tenors if you want to. Okay, going to start at measure 19 once again. Basses this time, you know, you're going to do the awa yori baba mojule. And remember, you can do awa yidorori baba fehenti. You can articulate with those D's like we talked about earlier. Awa yidorori baba mojule. Awa yodori baba fe nibolabi. Now the point is we're going to get that nibolabi this time. You're going to be ready for that one in the transition to letter D in your music. So here we go. Basses, this is especially for you. Sopranos and altos and tenors, you can speak along too.
Basses, here we go. Here's your first pitch on B flat.
2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. Ready.
Awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti, awa yori baba kojule, awa yori baba fehenti. Ibolabi, 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 ibolabi.
All right. So what I want to do now, right, is come back in here, what the basses have to say about that section. Any basses having trouble, any basses need to work on that section, getting into the nibolabi. That was the first time through, and so maybe the second time through you'll be more comfortable, but does anybody need a little more in-depth work on that? Just looking for responses.
We seem to have lost the Logic audio that last pass. I don't know what you did differently.
Really? Okay, well, let's test it.
I heard you singing, but there was no background at all, at least for me.
I think, so can I get thumbs up? Bob, I'm looking at you especially. Okay, so it's possible that my computer can't always keep up. And one thing that I do wonder about a little bit is when I've got 100 tracks in this song from all of you, is that going to be a problem? Will my computer be able to figure that out? Are these files are already like 2 gigabytes already. And so they're probably going to get really big. But it's a new computer. I don't know if I ever told you, but back in March, when I was sick with COVID and I was pivoting to change my college choir to an online choir, my iMac died at the same time. And I think I told you all that. And so I had a Chromebook for 2 weeks. And then I got this lovely new iMac computer, and it's been wonderful ever since. But I might be pushing it to its limits. All right, let's go back.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be okay when you're changing the recordings. I wouldn't want to try to play all 100 of us over Zoom.
Yeah.
That might tax it a little bit, but I think the editing should be okay.
Okay, good. All right.
They're usually pretty good.
And thank you, Brian. That was Brian, right? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So one thing that I'm also wondering about right now is what's the most effective thing? I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Thing I can show you on the screen. Somebody pointed out that if you're looking at the notation on the screen and I'm about this big up in the corner, maybe you can't see me at all, we're developing bad habits of not following the director as the music's going by and keeping your eyes focused on the music and not the director. It's like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. But I can't really work around that very much because as long as I'm sharing the screen, I'm going to be small. So the question is it useful for you to have the sheet music up? Is it useful to you to watch the logic go by, the tracks go by? That may not be useful. And so I'm experimenting right now with what's helpful for you. Can I get a show of hands? Who would prefer to see the Betelehemu notation showing while we're singing? A show of hands on that. Now, if you have, Nina's holding, you got the notation there in front of you, so that might not be necessary. So who at least doesn't mind or perhaps finds it useful to have the logic playing? Does that make any difference? Give me a thumbs up if that's interesting. Or is like, whatever, I don't really need to see that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'll do instead. I could put up pictures of ducks and geese instead. We could do that. Oh, conducting. Oh, conducting. That might be good. Yeah, Bob, go ahead. You got a thought?
I have recently seen a YouTube video, which is a split video that would be an excellent format, and it shouldn't be that difficult. It's basically you record one, you record the other, and then you just sync them. And the top is the music, the bottom is the director. And you could reverse them so the director's on top like we're normally used to seeing. But it ended up being very effective. I will send you a link to that. I saved it for this.
Okay, that's good. I did try to experiment with something like that, but I didn't find myself very successful so far. But somebody knows how to do it, so it's out there. Yeah. Okay. So I think I will try conducting even in the small screen. I'll go ahead, I'll try to remember to do that so that I'm giving you those cues as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to let you sing the fast section and see how it goes to go through the whole thing. It might be that it just takes some getting used to, some building in the habits at this tempo, right? Okay, so going back to share the screen. And, okay, so going to go back to that same spot that we started at before. So we're starting at measure 19 in your score, and you'll be able to count in those 4 measures until you start singing. So here we go. Oh, wait. I want to make sure that I'll bring the basses down and I'll have basically everybody pretty even in volume as we go. Here we go. 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2.
Papa Yori Papa Kotule, Papa Yori Papa Fehenti, Papa Yori Papa Kotule, Papa Yori Papa Fehenti, Ivola, 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 Nibela Baba Potaju, Betelehemu Iluara, Nibela Baba Potaju.
Wait for it.
Ian Mifuno. Ian Mifuno. Adu Pefuno.
to slow
two,
down shortly.
up.
2, 1, 2, 1.
Shift the tempo right here. 1, 2,
1, 2,
1, and the soloist comes in.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Here you come, ladies. Ready? And. And we're going to fade it out here, get it quieter. One, two, ready, go. All right, so there's how it goes, and you'll notice that the Baba Odaju at the end is a little bit different than we've done it sometimes in the past. People interpret the stringendo at the end in different ways. I don't even know if I put the stringendo in the music, did I? No, I didn't. So sometimes people seem to over-exaggerate that. Baba Odaju! Yeah, which we don't want to do that. I want to do it more like Morehouse did when they did it. And so they changed it, and I've notated it the way they changed it, and that's following the Morehouse version. So let's hear that again. Let's see, let's go from here. This is the last few measures. So notice it's 1, 1, 1. Those are the dotted quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you divide it. Baba Odaju. Baba Odaju. So say for me, let's go. Let's make a little exercise out of this. We'll go back and forth between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and a 2. So we'll just do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and a 2. Now let's switch back to the text. Don't worry about the pitches. Let's see. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So I'm going to start here at B-E. We'll have both Betelehemuiluara. We'll have both of those spots, which of course those are duples as well. So here we go. This is practice for speaking in rhythm. Okay, so the idea, hopefully we'll find that rhythm lines up well at the end there and everybody does that correctly and I don't have to mess with that. But if you find that you need more practice with that, you can let me know. Maybe I can come up with some other interesting ways to do it, or you can work on it on your own with the practice guides, etc. So I'm curious if there are any spots. Actually, I'm going to take a look here in the chat. Okay, so let me ask you a question here. As the music is playing, Karen is giving me this feedback a little bit. As the music is playing and I'm speaking, am I still out of sync with the music?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay. So that's I was hoping that because it wasn't GarageBand and it wasn't the website, it wasn't the Skagit Valley Chorale website playing the music, that somehow latency issues might be a little bit better. It sounds like I probably need to just kind of keep my mouth shut when the Logic is playing and let that be the guide for you, unless I have other things to say that are sort of asynchronous, as in they don't have to be scheduled, they don't have to be with the timing of the music. All right, I realized that I forgot to take a break earlier, so let's take a longer break right now. Ooh, 8 minutes? We could do 10. All right, let's do 10 minutes, please. So we're gonna be back at 8:40. It's just simpler math that way. 8:40.
7:40. Oh, everybody knows.
Ow.
7:40.
7:40. 7:40. Yeah.
Adam, your vocal or your speech, I think he is.
Yeah, I am. I'm still here.
Your speech, Zoom info, and your Logic audio are both trying to go out at the same time on your Zoom connection. And that's why it breaks up, because sometimes it loses some packets and it doesn't catch up with the packets. It kind of resends them again, and then you've got a delay.
Okay, interesting. All right, but it sounds like it's probably the best thing is for me to not try to sing along with the Logic. Is that true? And
I would think that one thing to experiment with if you've got an iPad is run the music off your PC from Logic and have a separate sign-in and connection from your iPad and run that vocal of you talking to us through that second connection, and that might work. And then again, it might not, because it's still all going out on one internet connection. It depends on how much speed you've got. You know, I'm 500 gigabytes, so it goes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I would have thought that, well, first of all, how would I mute?
You'd sign in twice and keep the computer muted for the microphone, but still output the Logic channel.
But can Zoom handle the input from the Logic on my computer and my singing on my iPad and consolidate those? That's not.
It may or may not. You wouldn't know till you tried the experiment. But when you select the sound for your computer, you can select the Logic output channel instead of the microphone in the audio setup, I believe. It will take some experimentation.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian may know more, but I don't know.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to step away for a moment here. So.
It sounds a little flat to me, but I don't know that much about.
Oops. Oops. Okay.
I'm still having problems with getting bumped in and out, so I'm going to be here with George. I don't know what's going on with my Zoom today, but
Okay.
anyway,
Okay.
it's going to be a couples thing.
I put my headphones on and it took me a while before I realized they weren't plugged in. Okay. So we're about 7:40. So as you know, we talked about having a moment of silence for Nikki and Carol tonight in our session. And Ruth Backlund actually sent me an email and said that some members had asked her if we could do that. And I hope that people didn't feel like I had been like avoiding the topic. Well, it's not, I wasn't bringing it up, it's true, talking about COVID and our experience and that sort of thing. As I mentioned in my email, it did seem like we have less than a quorum here, without having so many of our members here who can't participate through Zoom, it felt like not the right time yet to have that conversation. That's how I felt about it. So we hadn't talked about it on the board about whether to address it or not, but I think it is a good thing. So I don't really know. I think maybe we could have a moment of silence, and then if anybody wants to say anything about Nancy and Nikki and Carol in particular, maybe there would be some moments for that. So I think I'm just gonna say, let's have a minute of silence. So does anybody have anything they want to add, to say? Any memories of Nikki or Carol, for example? Linda? You're muted right now, Linda, so you need to unmute.
Okay, so I'm the one who invited Carol to join the chorale. And I got to know her through church. But as I got to know her really well, her faith and her family and music were the three pillars of her life. And I'm just glad I was able to get to know her really well. And I'm sure I know where she is now, and I know that she's singing up a storm and probably teaching others.
Linda, were you in the alto section with Carol? Were you there together?
No, I'm a soprano. She's an alto.
I couldn't remember.
Like I said, we met through church, but then I found out that she used to direct choirs and be involved in choirs, and so I said, "Oh, you have to join the Skagit Valley Chorale," and she did.
Yeah. Ruth, you have something?
Yes. I would like to talk about each of them. Nikki was persistent and she was insistent, but she always was concerned about other people. She was always concerned about the rights of other people and what was good for them and their welfare. Carol had the same concerns. Her style was different, but she always had a smile for all of us. And she, again, I thought was concerned about the welfare and health of other people.
Yeah. Others?
Adam,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Judy.
Judy, go ahead.
Yeah. I've computer problems. I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
And the internet drops. So if I disappear, you'll know why. I just wanted to say about Nikki, we'd actually had a conversation at the end of our last concert, and she was saying that she might take a quarter off because of health issues and things. And I said, well, you can do that, and we'll welcome you back if you decide that you really can't live without singing. And so when she showed up again in January, I thought, oh, okay, so you're feeling better, or you just decided you needed to sing? And she said, yep, I need to sing.
Yeah.
And so she kind of knew what was important in her life.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackie.
I stood next to Carol at rehearsals, and she just had a joyful spirit about her. and she talked about her family and her faith. I just enjoyed knowing her.
Oh, yeah, Marianne.
I have something to say about Nikki. Just a few practices before we stopped practicing together. She brought treats in, and it was hard for her to bring all that stuff in that she brought. And she says, "I'm going to need some help, at intermission." And I said, "Well, I'll help you." And but before I know it, she rounded up these guys to bring everything in, and she says, I got everybody to help me. So she had a way about her, to get people to help her without feeling helpless. And I just greatly admired her chipping in to do that when it was difficult for her. And she was real happy to do it and joyful. And that's actually my last memory of her, is her contributing to our choir in some way. And so I try to keep that, because that's my memory of her helping other people.
There was a time when Nikki would come to exercise class at the Burlington Senior Center. And I loved her because she always had an opinion about everything, and, whether it be about the choir or about anything else. And she really was fun to have in exercise class. And it was strength and balance. And so she hadn't been there in the recent time, but she did care about her health enough to come to a strength and balance class. So I thought that was pretty impressive, because it wasn't easy for her.
I don't quite recall what prompted our conversation. Nikki and I had a conversation backstage at McIntyre once. I think it was at the Christmas concert. And at some point, I think I lost my baton, or it fell out of my hand or something like that. And she was talking about how when she was a television producer in New York, Stokowski had the same thing happen to him. And so I was like, wow, there's a story. So there was a lot to Nikki that I was just starting to discover. And when we saw the obituary and saw stories about the things that she had done in her youth or in her career, there was a lot of life that she lived. So
I'd like to say one more thing. I really admired you, Adam, because sometimes it seemed like she would interrupt and be kind of difficult, and you were always very kind with her, and I really appreciated that of you.
I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Her sister said, yeah, but she had no filter. Sometimes it's easier if you don't have a filter.
Yeah.
I'd like to share a little bit about Carol.
Lisa.
Carol and I were in this Bible study fellowship together, and she led a class every week. And so I not only got to see her every week with that, but in choir also, and we were in the same row for altos. And my last memory of her was her sharing about her and showing pictures of her grandchildren and the joy of being able to be with them and going out for lunch with her grandkids. And just, she was a great, great person. We're gonna miss her.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to do with this concert that we do in December, I think it could be the Christmas Memories song that we do. Probably that's the one that we'll do it on. I want to do, as you know, I'm planning on, we'll put together our audio versions of the songs, And we'll put those with PowerPoint presentations, slideshows that have the texts of the songs and images that are related to what we're singing about. So that's the big picture of what we'll be doing with the 5 songs that we're recording. So with Christmas Memories, we could do, you know, kind of pastoral Christmas, winter, snow pictures. That's all possible. But I have also thought that I would like to have all chorale members submit photos of themselves. That could be couples, pairs, you know, family groups. I haven't quite figured out whether it's best to keep it only members of the chorale or chorale members and their immediate families. It kind of depends on how well we can put this together. But basically, we'll assemble these photos that people submit into collages that will show as we're going through Christmas Memories. Remember, Christmas Memories is all about coming home. We're coming home for Christmas Day to our favorite memories, you know. So my idea is that it'll be a way of kind of celebrating our familyness as a group. But certainly there will be some point in that song where we have a page or pages that are dedicated to Nikki and to Carol and have pictures of them. So this is what I'd like to do, and that will mean that we'll have to get everybody's participation in terms of sharing those photos. Although certainly anybody who says, you know, I'd rather not have my picture included, because it will be a public medium. We'll plan to put them on YouTube. Probably will get attention from the world because we do get attention from the world. So, you know, that's a decision that you can make individually. But that's what I'd like to do, and make that explicit in the concert, draw attention to that dedication. So, all right. So does anybody else have anything to add? Okay, scanning. All right. So let's spend another 40 minutes of rehearsal on Sing On. So please grab your Sing On score if you don't have that already. Handy. Oh, and there will be a few other things that I need to talk about also. So I got some notes from things that people have been sharing. Like I mentioned in my email, people have been giving me feedback, and that's useful. So, for example, shaker egg. This probably feels a little better for people's ears. I want to show you a special shaker that Lorraine loaned to me. This is her shaker. It's quite very subtle. It's a very nice shaker. So I might use this one. It's like, is it effective? Can it be heard? All right. You recall Chris and Sylvia Lee Thompson? They were members for the Christmas concert, and I don't remember beyond that. Chris was in the bass section, and Sylvia was in the alto section. Both of them ministers. So I'm allowed to tell you that Sylvia has Alzheimer's, and they have moved out of the area down to Tacoma, where they can be more close to family members. And they wanted to share that with us, with you, that's a change that they've gone through, and that they really found their time with the chorale. Even though they weren't in the group very long, they said it was a highlight of their time in Skagit Valley. And so we'll miss them, and hope for the best health and time, because it's a hard thing, I know. So as you may know, Lorraine's father had Alzheimer's too. So we've been through that experience. So anyway, if you have contacts or connections with Sylvia or Chris, you might send a little love their way, a little energy, a little prayer their way. So also I wanted to tell you about, you know, we're going from one thing to another here. You know that people are looking for different ways to sing together. I don't know if you've heard of driveway choirs. Have you heard of driveway choirs? So what you do with a driveway choir, I won't go into the details very much, but you have people sit in their cars. You have the conductor. There's a few people who have done this, and they have great videos online. You can look it up if you want, if you're interested. So the conductor stands in, and it's kind of a large house, large neighborhood, large streets, so there's room. The conductor stands in her driveway, and the 20 or so people in the choir, don't know if you could do this with 100, the 20 or so people in her choir park in the neighborhood close to her house so they can see her from their car. They have a wireless microphone, which is connected to a mixing board, which is also in the driveway with the conductor. And that mixing board gathers everybody's signal together and sends it back by a cheap transceiver thing, whatever, from Walmart that costs $8, to their FM dial in their car. So they can listen to themselves in the car, the mix of all their voices together while they're singing through their microphones. And it's very interesting. It actually seems to work. So, interesting stuff. Yeah. Just wanted to share that with you. So let's see, anything else? Muting is good. People say muting is good. That's helpful. Delay, we talked about that. Okay. Let me share something with you. I'm going to share, I have to bring this up. Close, yeah. Okay, I'm going to share a little bit of the Christmas memories. Excuse me, sorry, my computer is complaining about something. Cancel, skip all, just do this. Okay, so as you know, Stephanie has recorded the accompaniment part for Christmas Memories, and I was really pleased with how it came together. We put together several different tracks, assembled them so that there were no awkward moments or blobs or blurs or anything like that. And so let me share this with you just so you can hear a little bit of what's coming. I put it together, like I say, into an accompaniment, and I've sent that to Eric Jeffords, and he sent me back a few sample bits of him singing the solo part, and it's going to be lovely. I don't have that in the mix yet, but I just want to give you an impression of how things are moving along with this part of the project. So I'm going to share the computer here with you, do a little bit of Christmas Memories. So as I mentioned, you can see the screen, you can see the logic. Somebody give me a thumbs up. You can see logic, thank you. Good. I mentioned that Stephanie found a way of recording piano through Finale. She plays it into Finale, the notation program, and then exports it audio. So it's not actually ever been a live audio signal. It's all digital, but it works. So, oops, no, let's not have Adam in there. That's good. Make Adam go away. Okay, here we go. This is, sorry. A little bit of retard there, moving through it. That was one of the things that was challenging about this. Now I'm going to jump forward to where we get to the harp part. So here's it makes me want to sing just hearing it. This is the part where the ding-dongs come in. It's probably delayed, sorry. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you to give a little bit of a heads up of what's coming. I'll be recording in maybe the next week, certainly not much longer than that. I'll record all the vocal parts for this one, and we'll start working on Christmas Memories. As I mentioned in the email, there's not that much to this song that we'll have to rehearse, but we'll spend a little time on it also. Now I'm going to jump out of this one, and I'm going to go over to Sing On. Let's close, don't save. Okay, so you got your score. What do we want to talk about with Sing On? We want to talk about some of the challenging bits towards the end that we haven't spent time on yet. So we'll do some of that. And okay, let me think here for a moment. Actually, gonna stop sharing here. I realized one of the things that was a piece of feedback that was helpful for me is that when I scroll through the sheet music, that the PDFs of the sheet music that I have, it can be really disorientating. It can be really dizzying, and that's true for me too. So I'm thinking about ways that I can go from page to page without making you all sick. So so I'm going to go now I'm going to share the screen once again, and I'm going to go to Sing On as I got it marked up. And let's see. So I want to point out something here for you while we're talking about it. Roger scanned this score for me. Thank you very much, Roger. And hadn't made these changes. He hadn't erased these changes that we made back in the spring. So I just want to point out to everybody that any changes we made to the rhythm back in the spring are moot, are gone, are erased. We are not doing those changes. We are doing the notation exactly as it shows in the sheet music. So if you have any changes for yourselves, please erase those changes and only go with what shows in the notation now. Okay, so by the way, I told Lorraine at the break, I said, I'm feeling like tonight in this rehearsal, I'm a little discombobulated and a little manic. And she said, well, that's the way you always are. In rehearsal. So I was like, oh, thanks. All right, good. Well, so let me get my head together here. I think what I'd like to do is start on page 12, which means page 14 in here, I think, right? No, it means page 10 in here. Okay, we're going to do the sunrise and sunset spot again, and that'll lead us into some of the later parts of the song that I want people to work on. I got a request from an alto about the high E flat, and we'll definitely look at that. But let's start first of all around letter E on page 12, and I'm going to start hearing the music back around that point too. So let's see where we are here.
Sing on.
Here we go, sunrise.
Sunrise and sunset, light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on. Sing on.
So hang on just a second. I need to mute everybody. So let me just do that for a moment, and then we're going to jump back in there. I'm going to take you back to the same spot in the music. This time I'll give you some notice so that you know where to start, so you can start with the music. So going back to about that point there. Okay, and I'm going to share again. Okay, so let's see where we are here. Start a little bit earlier.
Till the day is past and gone.
Okay.
Take the time to
We're on page, we're measure 52, page 12.
Sing on.
There's sunrise.
Sunrise and sunset, light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on. Sing on. Sing on, sing on. Whatever comes your way,
Okay, good, good. All right. I want to point out a few things to you about the last couple pages of the song. And you notice that I've started to make some more notations in the sheet music to give you little hints and suggestions of what I'd like you to think about as you're singing. So, for example, actually, sorry, go back and share the screen once again. So we need to be clear on where people are breathing. Sorry, let's go here. Notice that the basses and the sopranos have that E flat that spans the last two measures, while everybody else breathes in between. They get a breath together. Also, I want you to notice that where Stephanie and I put the retard basically is here in the second half of measure 89. Really, these last two quarter notes are slower than the tempo we've been at before. So let's hear just that little bit right now. Let's see.
See on, find a way to sing.
Two,
Sing
one, two, breath, sing. Good. Now, in terms of the timing for singing the last note in the song with the fermata, basically I count to 5 in my head, and 5 is the cutoff. So, and 5, the numbers that I'm counting are about in the tempo of the quarter notes that we've been at. So really, it's not that much longer than it really would be if it wasn't a fermata, except that we are slower in tempo. So I also wanted to point out, as I mentioned, these two quarter notes here in measure 89 slow down. And you'll notice that Stephanie makes these 3/8 notes here. They carry the burden, if you will, of changing the tempo. And so that's a cue to you to hear when that third beat happens and how long, like especially altos and soprano ones, how long those quarter notes are and when you get to sing on. Let's listen to that same spot once again. Yeah, okay, let's go here.
Find a way to sing, sing on, sing on.
3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can see from some of the moves you're doing that it sounds like you're getting the sense of that slowing down and you're lining up yourselves with it. Does anybody have questions about that? Is that a question, Kelly? Okay. All right, I'm looking for other questions, but so far not seeing them. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to separate out some parts a little bit. Remember I talked about doing duets and things like that in Logic. Wait, John Haynes, you have a question? Your hand is up. Okay, so I'm going to have you lower your hand if you would. Okay, I'm looking to see if there are any other questions while we're out there. Okay, so I'm going to do some duets here at the end. Of course, that on letter H at page 20, at letter H, find a way to sing. Sopranos, tenors have the same notes there for a while, altos, basses also. Let's hear those separately. So altos and basses, I'm going to bring you up in the mix, and I'm going to ask you to sing this next section. I need to move you over there. Okay, I need the altos to be full, and I want the sopranos to be quiet, and I want the tenors to be quiet, and the basses to come up. So let's go back a little bit farther and see how far back should we go. Sing on. There's always a way. We're going to go back to about page 19. We'll go a little bit before that. Here's measure 82. 2.
There's always a way
Altos, basses.
to find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on.
Together.
Find a way to sing. Sing on. Sing on.
All right, good. And the reason why I'm doing this is to point out that there are places where you're in octaves or in unison with each other, with other parts. If we were, of course, in the same room, I'd be encouraging you to hear that also. So when you sing your video clip with the video click track, if you have these other parts in your mind, if you have them in your ear, even if you can't quite hear them, you can sort of tune yourself to that other part that you're duetting with. And that's one of my goals for what we're doing right now. Let's go back to about the same spot. That's again at the top of page 19, roughly. And we're going to go back and actually we're going to make the tenors and sopranos louder this time. So tenors and sopranos, this will be your duet spot. Okay, out there.
There's always a way.
Now let's go back a little farther, sorry.
From your heart until the day is passing on.
Here we go.
There's always a way
Breath.
to find the things that keep you singing on.
Open.
Sing on.
Together.
Find a way to sing. Sing on. Sing on.
Good. So you notice there, second sopranos and tenors, that you are swapping notes there in the chord here. And so that's going to be hopefully something to help you hear and tune with together so that you come together. You basically share the same notes there and you come into an octave here and nicely in tune. Okay, let's put everybody back in the mix now, equal volume, and let's see how that all sounds together. I did want to point out one thing actually before we did that. Altos and basses, where is it? This one right here. So you notice that the altos have that A flat and the basses have that B flat, right? So that's kind of, it's not exactly a major clash, but it's kind of an interesting harmony there that you share. So I just want to point that out, that that's something to listen for and enjoy. Let's go back, same spot roughly in the music on top of page, what was it, page 18.
Is passing on.
There's always a way.
There's always a way to find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on. Find a way to sing. Sing on.
And if you cut off on that 5, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you cut off on the 5, you're going to be right about in the right spot. Okay, let's go back a little bit before that now, because I wanted to hear the altos. I haven't had anybody sing today again. I got some feedback from people. Let's go out. Let me look at you all. I got some feedback from people that the tempo, the pace of the rehearsal is faster, moves along more quickly if I don't have people singing for me. Because when we do that, it takes time for people to unmute and it takes time for them to kind of gather the courage to sing sometimes, and it takes time for me to give feedback and it takes time for somebody to sing it again so that I feel like they've learned something, or we've shifted forward, we've shifted our understanding together as a group. So the question is that worth it? Is that worth doing? Is it worth doing a little bit? Is it worth doing more than I have been? I don't know. And I think I'm looking for your feedback on that. There was also, I'll just share this with you, there was also talk about possibly making singing be an opt out? That is, if I say, okay, I would like people to sing now for me in this section, and anybody who puts up their, what was it, Bob? You remind me.
Raising their hand through the actions
Right.
would be a red sign to stop.
Right. So raising your hand means do not call on me. I don't want to sing. Right. So, and that way, probably because inertia is what it is, and a lot of people will forget to raise their hand. That means I have lots more options to choose from, unless you are actually active enough to remember, oh, yes, I better raise my hand. But I did want to point out there are other reasons besides just not being comfortable singing why you might raise your hand, and that is, like, for example, they're jackhammering next door and I really don't think we want to listen to that, or the dogs are barking, or whatever reasons, right? So these things are on the option line, and I'm still not sure whether I want you all to sing or not. So let's go back. I'm not going to have you do it today. We'll figure that out later. Let's go back and work on that alto line, which I wanted to do. And that's back here. Altos, we're going to be on page 17. So I'm going to sing this for you without any accompaniment for a moment here. Let's make sure I got the right key. Sing on, whatever comes your way. Okay, so you're welcome to sing with me, altos. I'm going to point out a couple things as we go, the breaths that happen, where your character changes right here on page 18. This is what I think of as the Karen Carpenter moment right here. So, and I'll explain what that means in a minute after I sing it. Sing on, here we go. Altos, going to start at measure 74. And here's your first pitch. I'll play it for you. Doo, doo. It's close enough. 1, 2, and 3. Sing on, whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on. Sing on and sing it from your heart. From your heart, sing on, sing on. Notice I put this decrescendo in there. It's not in the music. I'm surprised, actually, that he doesn't have a decrescendo there. We definitely don't want that singing full power all the way to the end of that measure, not for anybody, not for the altos. So the altos, I want to make sure that you all got this here, this little Luftpause T thing. If we were here, sing on and sing it from your heart, sing on, sing on. Notice that this all carries through. There's no breaths there, no breaths there. Sing it through. When you get that little T there, you can release your air. You can release what you've been doing before, get a little tiny bit of a new breath air, a new breath there that hopefully will carry you through to the end of there. Okay, there was another spot though. Sing it from, right, so sopranos, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling and I know it's confusing. It's like, what? All right, sopranos, let's do you at measure 17. Sorry, page 17. I guess that hasn't changed. I still do that. 17, coming in on that F out of nowhere. At least it's not a G or higher, but an F still might feel a little bit hard for some of you. And I found that when I was doing this, sometimes I grabbed hold with my shoulders, with my neck on that entrance, and then I was in trouble. So if I could kind of stay free, noticing, of course, that you've got some time there to rest, you've got time to relax and to go on. So that could be time to get nervous and tighten up. But hopefully it's time for you to kind of listen to the beauty of the music, take comfortable breath in, and be ready to sing. I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go back into Logic. Wait, where was that? That was about 340. I'll start. So we're going to start on page 16. Just back a little bit so sopranos get a running start at this. Sing on, sing on. As you're singing that sing on, I want to think about what quality your throat and your neck muscles have. You want to think about what vowel you're thinking of as you're breathing in. So you have space inside your mouth, room for that I to be sounded well. Okay, here we go. So it's roughly in here. I want to get the sopranos higher and get everybody else a little quieter. So we're in.
So keep your music flowing strong.
For a little bit.
You'll find a way to carry on.
Sorry, I'm lost.
Sing on, sing on, sing whatever comes your way. Sing on.
I'm sorry. I was in the wrong spot. I was at the other one. Okay, so let's go back and get that again. So once again, sopranos, I'm going to start roughly on around measure 72 here. Let's see how close we are to that. Okay, here we go. There's always a way.
There's always a way.
Always a way to find the thing that
Ruth, can you mute? Here we go.
Sing on, sing on, sing whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on, sing on, sing on. Music's going from your heart into the
Okay, gonna stop.
There's always a way.
All right, so Ruth Haynes, just so you know, you're coming across and I need you to mute. Ruth, can you do that?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right, so sopranos, I'm curious how that go for you. Does any of the sopranos feel like they're having any hard time with those notes? Maybe that feels fine for you, in which case we can move right along. Any thoughts? Can we do that again? How'd it go, Eva? How'd you do? All right, good. That's cool. Good for you. Okay, so let's go back now. Where the sopranos and the altos do that together, that was the other spot that I accidentally went back to by accident. And that's on page 14. That's what I'd really like to do also, so that we can get the altos and the sopranos singing that duet together. So altos, for you, it's not coming in at an awkward place. It's only a G, so no problem there. However, when you get to the bottom of page 15, you're going up to the E flat with the sopranos, and that might be a little bit of a challenge. On the music, this marked up copy, and I'm going to page 14 here. You'll notice that I put in some vowels here. So of course, those are the vowels that you're singing if you don't think about the consonants. And if you were to come in on that, so if we did a little vocal exercise, which is like, E-I-E-I, so we get the vowels going and not worrying about that S, not worrying about the NG or the N. Let's do that again. I'm going to give you about a beat and a half, a measure and a half of time to go in there.
You need to screen share, Adam.
Yes, you're right. I forgot about that. Okay, here we are. So you can see that now, the E-ah, E-ah. Okay, so I'm going to start back here in the measure before in sopranos, and anybody else who wants to experiment with this, I'd like you to sing just those vowels, not the actual words. And here's that pitch of the F. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. E-ah. Okay, let's do that again. 3, 4, and 1. E-ah. Good. How do you feel as you're singing the E? Do you feel like you're tightening and grabbing on the E, or are you staying easy as much as possible? Let's do that one more time. A full measure plus a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. E-ah, E-ah. Good. Okay, let's go on now. Altos, actually, let's get E-ah, E-ah. No, don't need to do that. Never mind. It's really, notice here, sopranos, I did it again. Here I wrote more of an E-ah. Back here, I wrote more of an I because you want to have an open space, more of an open vowel in this part of your range here. So probably you don't want to sing on. You don't want to do that because you'll tighten up the vowel and you'll make a quality that sounds strained if you do that. So that's why I suggested I, ah. Here, it might be more like E, C, C, sorry, I can't hear what it's supposed to be. Sing on, sing it from your heart. Okay, so altos, let's do that with you and the sopranos, all of you singing it here. We're going to take it out of context just for a moment, and then we'll go back and put it back in context. And then we'll sing the whole song here. So, E-ah, can we do that? Let's do, I'm going to give you 2 beats at the beginning of the measure. You'll get a chance to breathe and then come in singing the vowels. And here's that B flat, and 1, 2. E-ah, let's do that again. So maybe a little bit of sweeping motion might help you altos or anyone struggling as you go up to that E flat. Feel the momentum go with it. So it's 1, 2. E-ah, you might try it on the actual words now. Here we go. And 1, 2. Sing it from your heart. Notice, I think that the way I just sang that was informed by the way I'd sung the vowels before. That singing the vowels through helped me be clear on how large a space I could have in my mouth, how much room I could have for those vowels, so that when I put the consonants back in there, it didn't take that away. I didn't lose that. It felt like I kept that. And so I'm encouraging all of you to do that. Let's go back a phrase and see how that fits with sing on, sing on. Here we go at the top of 15. I'll count in from this 3rd beat here. So there's your A flat, sing on, and 3, 4, 1. Sing on, sing it from your heart till the day is gone. Of course, I sing the alto part there. Sopranos, till it's gone. I really like the decrescendo there. Wistful and quiet is what I'm hoping for there. Okay, this may be moving way too fast. I meant to say a long time ago that we are doing the Zoom recordings. We're having some success getting those put up on the website. If you haven't checked yet, you can see them there. And so you can go back and play this little section of this recording multiple times and do it over and over again. And also altos, keep telling me, well, was that helpful? Did you learn anything from what we just did in that way? Or do you need something else from me? Tenors, while we're here, let's see, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. Some of you may feel the desire to go, sing on, but don't do quite that much because that's going to way overpower the rest of the sections. So a little does a lot here. Okay, let's go back. And I promised that I was going to go not so long today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the very beginning of this song, and we're going to sing it all the way through. I realized, hey, we used to sing songs all the way through in rehearsal. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that again. Take a drink of water if you need it. And we're going to start at the very beginning of Sing On. Okay, here we go, back into sharing. And here we'll go back all the way to the beginning. And music will go back all the way to the beginning. Okay, so here we go.
Sometimes when I chance to catch the sunrise, rising o'er the eastern range, something inside me winds up singing. Something inside me is saying.
And that's your first pitch.
Something inside it seems there's
crescendo. Bases, here we go. Sing on.
Sing on.
Whatever.
Comes your way. Sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going.
Breath here.
Flowing from your heart until the day
Lift here.
is past and gone.
Okay, crescendo.
Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on.
We talked about opening for sing on space. Here we go, ladies, sopranos, altos. Anybody wants to sing?
Sometimes as I sit and watch the sunset, sinking past the distant shore, wishing I could change what life has handed me, fearing I can't face what's in store.
Here we go, tenors, altos,
Deep inside, I know I've got to let my burden roll, and it stirs the music in my soul.
basses, sing on.
Sing on.
3, 4,
Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on. Sunrise and sunset, light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on.
a little bit hard.
Sing on. Sing on. Sing whatever comes your way. Sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. There's always a way to find the things that keep you singing on.
Sopranos, easy,
Sing
relaxed.
on. Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on.
Altos.
Sing on. Music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. There's always a way to find the things that keep
Open space.
you singing on. Sing on. Find a way to sing. Sing on. Sing
All right, good. I'm going to assume that went just beautifully, really well. I'm sure it did. So good. Thank you, everybody. That I hope was a good rehearsal for you. It seemed like we covered some good ground there. I'm not sure that I covered as much for the tenors and basses in Sing On as I would have liked. So maybe you'll get a little more time next week. We'll see. So meanwhile, you are free to go. Thank you very much for meeting us here again.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Adam.
I really,
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I really wanted to experiment with, how could we sing happy birthday all together at the same time? Knowing, of course, that there are other September birthdays, right? So I'll tell you what, how about you
Right.
think about creative ways that we can sing birthday all at the same time on Zoom and not drive each other crazy. And maybe
Yeah, right.
that'd be the hard part, the drive each other crazy part.
Yeah.
Gonna
And
happen.
we could do that next week for all September birthday, right? Meanwhile, let's see. Let's experiment with this, okay? Let's see. How about a B? Happy birthday to me. No, hey, whatever. You sing whatever. Okay, here we go. Oh, ready? Take
Happy
it.
birthday to you.
Happy
birthday
to you.
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Happy birthday
to
So we were just in a Mexican restaurant when they sang happy birthday.
Yeah, we've got several birthdays going on in the restaurant at the same time. Yeah. Well, that was the most interesting happy birthday I've ever heard, I think. So, anyway, thank you all. So, you do your straw phonation, sing with your straw over the next week. Experiment with that and see what you can learn about your voice from that. We just have scratched the surface of that. So, okay?
Adam, I heard
See you, Debbie.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Good to see
Bye,
you.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you,
Good
Adam.
night, everybody.
Everybody.
Thanks, Adam.
Welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Or can I get it? Leave meeting.
The little
Adam,
red
I
button.
heard a interesting comedy routine years ago with somebody who had done the national anthem at a ballpark. And she says, it goes really well until you hear the echo of yourself from the far side of the stadium. And the temptation is to try and sing with it.
Uh-huh.
So she did it. She started singing, and then it came back. It was recorded this way, but she made a whole, struggled through the whole thing, but ended up, they did the recording so that she was singing with her echo. It was so funny,
That would be
especially as a
cool.
musician and these kind of things. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I've been thinking actually about with the latency thing, comparing it to cathedrals where you have a long reverberation delay time and you can't sing with what you hear back. You have to sing with what you see. I think it might be a useful metaphor to apply to this situation also, but I'm not sure about that yet. So, yeah. So others saying hello or bye? Okay. All right. Emily, I'm glad you were here.
And
Joey too? All right, good. Good to see you. All right, good to hear you. All right, nice to see
Adam,
you guys.
it's Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Yeah, my husband, when he listened to us sing at the cathedral in Salzburg, he says, now I understand why Mozart wrote the way he did because of that reverb. Because he said he'd hear the music stop, or he'd hear our mouths close, but then a few seconds later, the notes would actually get to him. And there is that. It's a crazy sensation.
It's interesting stuff.
It was eye-opening for him.
All right, so Brian, any last things for me?
I was just going to say, I've got both my bongos and my djembe.
Okay.
I will be you'll be getting tracks from me on those when the time comes.
That sounds fine.
I haven't played the djembe in ages because I had cracked the head and only recently put a new head on it, and I haven't even played it before